Amazing. Okay, now we're live. So I am Asa from AP Podcast. I'm joined by none other than non-stop Nyall Berry. 8-0, 4 KOs at the moment. He's got an upcoming fight coming up in a couple of weeks, just under 3 weeks, I do believe, on a big show on the Boxer. Nyall, how's training going?
Tiring, I'm knackered, I'm hungry. I just want to eat a burger, but it'll all be worth it in 3 weeks' time. So yeah,
Absolutely. I tell you what sort of your go-to meal after a fight?
Five Guys.
Oh,
I'm I'm
fantastic.
I'm saying Five Guys, man. You can't beat a Five Guys burger.
That's Del Boy's sponsored by Five Guys, isn't he? Sort of thing. You looking to maybe get a
Yeah,
sponsorship?
that would be good. That would be right up my alley, that would.
Oh, amazing. I tell you what, um, going into your sort of training, so what do you sort of normally sit around in terms of weight? I understand that you're fighting out of featherweight, aren't you? So you have to get
Yeah.
down, don't you, at the start of camp. What did you start this weight camp at?
I usually walk around at about 140. I can't really go over 140. The highest I've ever been is like 142. But we're looking at super bantam now. So the lowest I have been is featherweight, but I can get to super bantam. Like I've
Mm.
featherweight's 126. I've done 127 on the day, or like 128 on the day. I can make super bantam. So and this will be a day before weighing, so that's nice. So, I won't have to make the super bantamweight championship. It'll still be like 123, 124. So we are looking at super bantam, but I walk around at about 140, I think.
And do you find the weight just flies off you the moment you start training camp?
Yeah, as long as I stick to my diet, like the training's hard, but I get through it. But I think the one thing for me is food diet. It's so shit. Like I just love my food, man. Like Five Guys. So as long as I stick to my diet, my metabolism helps. I've got quite a fast metabolism, so um, as long as I stick to my diet and I train religiously anyway, so it does fly off. My weight does come off quite good. It's just sticking to the hard work and the diet.
100%. I find as well with boxing, obviously, you utilize a lot of sort of energy, especially in sort of the form of like carbohydrates and fats and so forth. And by cutting that out, it must have like an effect in the first few weeks of training camp. How do you sort of deal with that?
I'm saying the whole training camp. I'm just moody, man. Tired. I'm tired, knackered, tired and moody. And I was supposed to fight October the 6th. Then I got changed to October the 21st, and now it's November the 18th. So I've been dieting for like what? Since September, but yeah, to be honest, I don't really cope with it. I just get through it. I just again just train religiously. You got no choice. If you want to make it, then you have to get through it. So I wouldn't say I cope with it, to be honest. I'm just moody 24/7, but it's got to be done.
100%. Do you know what? Look, I've only ever fought at white collar level. I've only had a couple of fights. And I had to
Mm.
make weight for my third fight and I had to really cut down quite a tremendous amount of weight. And I was walking around the office like a really sort of angry pregnant lady, if I'm going to be honest. Anytime there was any
Yeah,
sugar,
yeah.
but I couldn't have any. I was trying to avoid people at best at times. I did find my immune system dropped a little bit as well. So I had to really evade
Okay.
form of sort of like person. It was with colds and stuff like that. So I did supplement quite a bit. Do you supplement with anything at all?
Not really. I don't take creatine because I took it a few times once, and apparently it promotes hair loss. And I found that my hair stopped growing. So I don't touch. I love my hair, so I don't touch creatine whatsoever. I take some vitamin D tablets because I got like an iron vitamin D deficiency. I just take some multivitamin tablets and some protein powder. That's it really. I don't really use a lot of supplements, just my protein powder whenever I could do with a bit more protein in the day.
Absolutely. And I think as well, one thing I wanted to ask is I know you've boxed at sort of national level amateurs as well, national champion, if I do believe, as well, saw recently.
Mm.
Um, do you find like weighing in now a lot easier than when it was with the nationals, the amateurs? Because you had to weigh in on the day of the fight, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. I do find it easier to a degree, I guess, because say like because we still do say if you're on a small horse show in the pros, it is still same day. And I
Mm,
didn't actually know that before turn pro. I thought every fight was still day before, but if I have a same day weighing on pros, you're more time just fighting a journeyman. So I don't kill myself. Like I fought Lee Conley like and I come in at like lightweight. He was
mm.
like super light. Like so I guess it's not the end of the world. It's the same day, but I'm not coming in at featherweight on the same day. You're mad. So I guess it still is easier because in the amateurs you'd have to come in on weight at your actual fight class. So. Yeah, I'd say either way, it's still easier to make weight.
100%. And do you find as well, look, 3 minute rounds in comparison to like your 2 minute rounds, do you find your fighting styles changed and adjusted since you've turned pro?
I've always had the same fighting style. We've just tweaked it so that it's more sharper. It's just better. But I've always had the same fighting style. That's what I didn't like the amateurs. It was just people running around, just
Mm.
pinging, trying to get points. I hated it. I just want to get in there and fight. And I'm a 10 round fighter. I'm not no 3 round fighter. I'm only
Mm.
trying to fight for 3 rounds. So no, I've always had the same style, but we've just tweaked it, made improvements, and now I'm just getting better every training camp.
I saw one of your recent fights, and as you say, you like to get in quite close. You're quite a game fighter, and you knocked him with
Mm.
a body shot and you sent him right down. And that was a really precise, sort of well thrown sort of body shot straight to the liver, I believe, as well. I
Yeah,
saw that. Tell you what, it sounded like a car door being slammed when you sort of felt the punches through the sound that you made. I,
yeah,
I wouldn't want to get in there with yourself.
yeah. Nah, when I got that left to the body, it legit felt like my hand went through his belly. Like
Yeah.
you just felt it, man. But that's what I mean. I love getting in close. I love working to the body. I love her working to the body more than the head.
Mm.
I'd say, like a throw. I feel like I'm a throwback type fighter, a throwback type fight like Mike Tyson or something like that.
Is that how you sort of like to emulate your style as well? Is he your sort of biggest role model in boxing?
I don't feel like it's similar. It is similar. You can see it, but I do feel like Mike Tyson's was more relentless, and he used his head movement a lot more. I tried to mix it in with head movement, a bit of feints. I mean, he used feints with his head, but I tried to use more feints with my jab. You know, I'd say it's similar, but it, it's similar. I wouldn't say it's exactly the same, but you could definitely say you can see a bit of Mike Tyson.
100%. And who would you say your biggest role model in boxing is, especially as you've come up through the ranks?
If we're talking just strictly boxing, then I'm saying Tank.
Mm.
Because I don't really look at who's my role model. I've never really because I don't look at people like that. I just watch boxing. So I
Mm.
would say Tank, but then when you see him and how like Adrian Broner how they are outside of boxing, I wouldn't say they're the best role model. So if I was to think who's a good role model for boxing, I don't really look at people like that, to be honest. All I know is like if I was to look at now, I'd love watching Tank. And
Mm.
if you was to ask me what about a throwback fighter, I love watching Aaron Pryor. Don't know if you know Aaron Pryor. I love I'd say we've got similar styles as well. He's just gets in there, fights for 10 rounds, 12 rounds straight. Well, they were doing 15 rounds back then.
Mm.
So yeah.
You hear a lot about Usyk as well. I mean, he was doing 15. I don't know how true this was, but he did 15 rounds, 3 minutes on, 30 seconds off, just relentlessly. Is that a sort of like training regimen you do within your sparring yourself?
To be fair, no. To be fair, no. We kind of build it up because I feel like if you start straight off doing 10 and then eventually bring up to 50, I feel like come fight day, I feel like I'd have nothing left. I feel like I wouldn't have anything left. But well, yeah, that's what we usually do. We usually build it up, start with 6, then midway we get to 8. I mean, I've got sparring with Liam Davis tomorrow. I reckon we'll do 8 rounds. and he's also fighting in 3 weeks. So that's what I mean. We're midway through camp. We're still on 8 rounds sparring at the minute. That's what we usually do.
Absolutely. And do you find as well, do you get quite a few different sparring partners in, obviously, to emulate your opponent? I mean, do you know much about your opponent you're fighting in November?
Don't have one. Don't have one. They've been Sky's been given a list. I know three people have said no, waiting to see what the other people say. But at this level, I don't feel like you need specific people. Like I usually spar a lot with my stablemates, Niall Farrell, Scott Mel. I usually do a lot of sparring with them too. Obviously Liam Davis has got his fight in 3 weeks' time, so schedules have aligned, so it's good to get sparring with him. Is every time I spar him, I feel like I'm gaining so much experience. So, but usually I just spar my stablemates. I feel like at the level that we're at, like it's not input. Like I don't even 3 weeks out. I don't even have an opponent. It's not like you need to come up with game plans and all this.
Mm.
When we get to British level and the fight's actually planned and you know who you're fighting, then I can understand it. But yeah,
I always find as well, iron sharpens iron. Do you feel like, as well with your stablemates, do you go in for hard spars quite consistently, or is it mostly technical?
I can't do technical to be honest with you. Like, I can't. If I'm going in there to spar, I'm going in there to spar. Like, I'm not going in to knock anybody out. Like with me, and I feel like I fight way better than I spar anyway. I'm fighters where I fight way better than I spar. So I'm not going in there to knock you out anyway, but I'm not going in there to technical. I can't if I'm getting in a ring with someone, I can't just oh yeah, let's just tippy tappy practice. I can't do that. If I'm going in there to spar, then I'm going in there to do the hard rounds sparring.
Mm. I find as well, I like that as well, because that's a good mentality to have. I mean, a coach who I sort of know briefly through the boxing side of things, especially the social influence boxing, is Daily Corrales. And he speaks quite a lot about when it comes to sparring, obviously, you're there to do a job. You're not there to be mates. You're there to get things done and really sort of work on yourself. And even down to before sparring, the whole ritual of like, I don't know if you've experienced this as well, but some sparring partners love a little chat beforehand, try and like break the ice. Me personally, I like to just get in there, do the job, have the chat afterwards. How do you sort of approach a spar?
Well, obviously with my stable mates, I see them every day. So obviously with them, no, because I speak to them all the time anyway. But um the same with Liam Davis as well, because I speak to him. I speak to him online as well quite a few times, and I've spotted him a few times. Now, say if I'm sparring someone for the first time, then I definitely do. I would do that. Like the first time someone comes my gym, I'm not into the. I want to see what they've got. I want to show them what I've got. I'm not like I said. I'm not here to just make friends. I'm here to spar. So
Mm.
say if I'm meeting someone for the first time, I'm not doing no chitting, chatting, and I'm just getting in there sparring. Even with my stablemates when it's sparring there as well, we're not laughing and joking about like we're getting there spar, and then chill and talk after. But yeah, no, I do like that mentality as well.
Absolutely. And like when it comes to making weight for a fight, like is there any sort of tactics you utilize? Do you utilize like the sweat bags or like the sweatsuits or anything like that?
Yeah, I do usually do my runs in a sweatsuit just to it does get the little extra out. But apart from that, I don't really do anything. I'll just usually do my runs in a sweatsuit. Maybe the odd once if I'm doing bags in the gym, I'll put a sweatsuit on, but I don't do that too much. Probably once a week, sometimes not even that. I'll just usually do a sweatsuit I'll do a run in a sweatsuit. That's it really. I don't want to get too, if you do it too much, it does drain you a little bit.
Definitely. One thing I wanted to mention as well. So a lot of boxers that I've spoken to, or even that I've seen come on the come up. So Fabio Wardley, Stevie Levy, Toby Vermio, who made his debut yesterday, and Kane Baker, all come through the white collar circuit. Where did you originate from in terms of boxing?
Well, I started boxing at 16 and I done amateur boxing. Uh the first thing I ever done was kickboxing. That was when I was 12. Done a bit of MMA. bit of taekwondo, but I started boxing at 16 and I just done amateur. I had 25 amateur fights. I won 21.
Absolutely amazing. And did you always like from the get go know that you were really destined to be a professional boxer and really challenge for titles?
When I started boxing, I did think I wanted to turn pro.
Mm.
I just wanted to wait and pick up some experience in the amateurs, not get ahead of myself. But eventually, I thought, yeah, it's there. It's definitely what I want to do, and I feel like I can. I feel like I can go all the way as long as I keep doing what I'm doing, fight wise. I've got a good team behind me, so yeah. No, when I started boxing, I certainly thought, yeah, nah, this is what I want to do. I don't want to do anything else.
Absolutely. And like your so like let's say your pre-fight meditation, your pre-fight ritual before, like on the day of the fight, or even just in the lead up.
Yeah.
Is there any sort of like form of meditation that you follow just to get yourself relaxed and in the zone, or at all? Or is it just natural to you?
Nah. Honestly, it's just natural to me. I don't get nervous, to be honest with you. I just love getting in the ring and I just love fighting. I just love fighting. Like I I just don't get nervous. The last time I feel like I've got nervous for a fight is probably like my second amateur fight because that's when I'm still getting into it. But since then, I ain't really got nervous, to be honest with you.
Mm. And what's like the worst injury you've like suffered from like whilst like boxing?
What's the worst thing I've suffered from?
Like worst injury.
Oh, do you know what? I've only just overcome it. I had golfer's elbow for about 10 months and it was so painful. I thought it was just tennis elbow, but it was on the inside, and that's called golfer's elbow. And it was the worst thing ever. It just wouldn't go away. I had to
Mm.
wear elbow sleeves. I was doing my stretches, I was doing everything to get rid of it. It just wouldn't go away. But I think it's been gone for the past month now, but sometimes it would come and go. So I don't like to get ahead of myself, but this is the longest it's been gone. So I think the worst is over. But I've had 3 fights this year or two. I've had 2 fights this year, so I'm fighting while I had that, and it hurt. It hurt. It wasn't no normal tennis. No, it hurt. Every time you do a left hook, oh my God, it hurt. It hurt. So that's by far the worst injury I've had so far. Other than that, my hands ain't the best. Like they always hurt after a fight. Sometimes after a spar, depends. But by far my elbow issue, that was horrible.
Do you know what I actually want to ask actually with regards to the hands? Because I always find after a fight, that's what I find hurts the most. So I have smaller gloves and you really feel the
Yeah.
punches off your opponent and so forth. How do you sort of rehabilitate that?
I usually do hot and cold method if my knuckles feel bruised. So I'll put my hands in ice water for about 10 minutes, then warm water for 10 minutes, then ice water again for 10 minutes, then warm water for 10 minutes. That's usually what I'll do. But they haven't been too bad so far. My last fight was only 2 rounds, so that wasn't too bad. But the fight before that, that really, oh no, I've had 3 fights this year. The second fight this year that I had, that my hand was mashed, absolutely mashed. So I just left. I usually have a week off after a fight, and then I was just resting it for a bit, and then back to it.
Definitely. Do you know what I find as well? That water and gas bill is going to go through the roof in with the hot and cold water treatment, especially in the day and age we live
Yeah,
in.
yeah, yeah. I hear that.
Cryo. You ever tried cryotherapy? There we go in the cryo chamber.
No, no, and I'd like to. I can't do ice baths. I
Mm.
can't do ice baths. I just tried to do a cold bath today. I can't do it. I can't do it. So I might have a look at therapy soon. Cause yeah, I could do with it. My body is mashed. I usually just do the massages, the sports massages, cause I can't do ice baths. I just can't do it. I can't get in. It's too painful. I can't do it.
I love the sheer honesty in that because so many people go, yeah, I do ice baths every single. I mean,
Nah,
I've done
uh-uh.
2 ice baths and I hated it, and I was always worried I was going to like tear something or like pull a muscle when
Mm.
I come out of the bath and actually feel so stiff. And no, I don't miss doing them. I have to admit.
I've managed to do it like twice, and I do want to do it again because the two times that I've done it, I felt nice after. You do feel really good after, but oh my God, I can't get in. I can't do it. I'm dead ass. I can't do it. So I either do my sports massages or I just do a warm bath with bath salts. But an ice bath really does help you. So I might have to just look into cryotherapy because I can't do an ice bath. I can't do it. Can't do
Definitely.
it.
I know a few fighters who are sort of sponsored by cryotherapy chambers and stuff like that, and they're just so effective for what they've been sort of like told. And that's like I've never done one, but it just seems a little bit more glamorous
Mm.
and nicer than an ice bath. I must admit, an ice bath lasts a little bit longer as well. I find like 5 minutes in there is it's like 10 minutes,
Yeah,
10 hell, except it's a lot
yeah,
colder. I must admit. And what's like your
yeah.
ring walk when you come out?
I've changed. I've changed it a lot. I had a Movado March out a few times because I like my dance hall. I think I'm gonna pick some nines for my next one for the sky fight. I think I'm gonna pick some nines, but I don't ever have the same ringwalk song really. I just whatever I think. Oh yeah, I like this song. I want to come out to that. Just whatever's on my mind, really. I don't think that deep into it. I did like my Vado March out for a bit because I just like my dance. I love repping Jamaica as well. I love my dance hall, and it's like the lyrics is saying I'm marching out. So, but other than that, I don't think that deep into my ringwalk songs. I just pick whatever I'm feeling, really.
Mm. My go-to's Nigel Ben's Dangerous from Conroy Smith. Absolutely dream. But you can imagine the looks I got when I come out because obviously people are listening to it thinking, oh, yes. And obviously I come out white, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
I've
Some next
got to show
Rasta.
the opponents, man. That's what I've got to do, especially the fans at least.
Yeah, yeah.
So with boxing, like where do you see yourself? I'm going to sound like a little bit of a career advisor here, and I'm not meaning to. But where do you see yourself in like 5, 10 years time within boxing? Do you see yourself retiring early, getting a few titles under your belt?
Don't know, man. Depend. Well, I definitely think I can get a world title as long as I keep doing what I'm doing. I definitely think I can get a world title. I mean, uh, if we look at how my fighting style, you would think that I'd probably have to retire earlier than some people. But man, I can't even imagine what I'd do. I
Mm.
mean, it depends because I want to get a world title. I want to be able to make money. 'Cause I know I'm not gonna be able to make money to just live off. You need to get to Floyd Mayweather level to actually do that. So I just want to make enough money to be able to live. Just invest in. I want to try invest in property. I feel like that would be a good thing to do after you retire. And then as long as I win titles and get a world title and I make enough money to just invest so that I'm okay when I retire, then I'm happy. I'm happy with that. Um, when when do I think I'd want to retire? I don't know. In 10 years time, I'll be 34. So that seems like a decent age to retire.
Mm.
So yeah, I'll have to wait and see how it goes. But as long as I get my world title and I make enough money to invest, I'd be happy with that. I can't complain.
Absolutely. And do you know what? I mean, my last guest I had on, he had 500. Well, he's looking to get to 500 fights. He's not by any means a pro sort of level. He's sort of a cross between sort of journeyman and sort of like white collar sort of like level fighter.
Mm,
But he's got 380 fights at the moment. He fights twice a weekend. And I sort of asked him the same thing. I said, well, what is your end goal, that sort of thing? And he wants to get to 500 fights and then bow out gracefully. But he's been in some tear ups. So I'll be interested to see if he gets that 500 mark, But he's an incredible,
yeah,
but it just makes you really appreciate boxing. One thing he said that was interesting though was he said a lot of things interested, no disrespect to him, but one thing he said that really stood out to me was he hated boxing. He absolutely hated it, which really shocked me because he makes a living out of it. But
yeah.
Have you ever gone through phases in your own mind where you've sort of hated the training, or you've just sort of really hated the sort of like commitments you've had to make?
Not so much the training, the commitments, the sides of boxing that people don't see. People
Mm.
don't. People just think. People think I'm a millionaire. Well, people think I'm like a footballer. They think I'm getting grands every week. Family, friends. That they think I'm rich, and it's mad. They don't see the struggle. Like this week, yeah, I had a full-time sponsor. And he just dropped me, just out the blue, said nothing. And he was sponsoring me for 4 months. Now, I had a job, I had a full-time job when I was working, and then he's told me, "I'll quit your job, I'll sponsor you, I'll look after you." And now, literally this week, just out of the blue, he's just dropped me. So now, and it's at the end of the month when he's supposed to give me my next sponsor payment. So I got no money, I'm tired, I'm stressed, I'm hungry. you know, I ain't got money like that. I was
Mm.
doing a full-time job, you know, and I'm trying to train at the same time, and it's not like, oh, boxing's a hobby, I'll just do 1 hour training. No, it's professional training. I'm training twice a day, sometimes three, you know. And then so after this fight now as well, I gotta go back and look for a job because I left my job and I gotta go look for another one and go back to training 2 times a day and working. But people don't see this side. Like I say, people just think, oh, you're on Sky. Oh, you're getting 10 grand, then yeah. And it's like, shut up, just shut up,
Yeah.
man. People do my head in. I'm sick of selling tickets. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. So I mean, it's getting me ranting already because there's loads of things that make me think, oh my God, why did I do boxing? Why did I do this? I don't know why I did it. It's stressful. It's beyond stressful. Selling tickets is so stressful. I am so sick to death of people going to me, oh yeah, I'll get a ticket. And then they just mess you about. Either get the ticket or don't get the ticket. Just say to me, just tell me if you want a ticket or not. It's not that hard. I can't if you can't spend the money on a ticket, that's fine. I can't force you. I can't hold a gun to your head and tell you to go buy a ticket. If you don't want to buy a ticket, just say you don't want to buy a ticket. Don't tell me that you're gonna buy a ticket and then you mess me about. For what reason? What's that gonna do? You're wasting my time, your time. Mate, I could give you a long list of reasons that things that make me want to quit boxing, but when you get in the ring and you fight, for me, it's like a drug. Like it's so for me, it's addictive. I love fighting. I love boxing. I love boxing. I got a tattoo on my chest. No boxing, no life, because that is dead. That's how it is to me. I I don't know what I'd be doing if I didn't have boxing. I really don't. And I know loads of people say that. Everyone says it, but I'm being serious. There's no plan B. There is no backup plan. It's this or nothing. So, man, there's loads of things that make me want to quit, but it will all be worth it in the end, innit? It'll be part of the story.
100%. It's in your DNA, isn't it, to be a fighter? And I feel like
Yeah.
you know all your life and you're starting to do this sort of thing. And part of being a fighter is going through that adversity, isn't it? And really overcoming even things where people will let you down. The one thing you can certainly rely on when you get in the ring is on yourself, and you don't have to rely on other
Mm,
people. And it's that build up and that letdown that can really sort of pull you back. And I do find, I don't know about yourself, I mean, even with regards to my business, a lot of people will let me down. So I do personal training outside. A lot of people go, oh, yeah,
mm,
we want to train you. And then suddenly they don't exist. They vanish, like completely
yeah.
just out there. And as you say, my passion keeps me going in that sort of in that realm to really build things up. But as you say, like once you're in the ring, when you're feeling it, when you've got those gloves on, when you get that smell in the atmosphere, when you've got the spotlight on yourself, it's all down to you. It's all on you. And that's what carries you through. And that's what's going to take you to the world championship level, not relying on the other people sort of thing. But yeah, massive props to you for that, because honestly, it can be a massive setback when you're being let down by numerous people. And to keep yourself sort of in that sort of mindset going into the fight is absolutely tremendous. Do you find your like circles got a lot smaller as you've got sort of like more into boxing?
But I've never had a large circle. If I'm honest with you, if I wasn't a pro boxer, I would not have social media. I
Mm.
can't stand it. Do you want me to be honest? I can't stand people. I just can't. People get on my nerves every day. But in this game, it you need people. You do. Well, ticket wise, you do. So, uh, I've never really had a large circle, which is not really benefiting me now because I kind of need a large circle. But I'm one of them people. I keep myself to myself. I keep myself to myself. That I don't want stress. I don't need stress. Like I said, life is already too stressful. Like I said about the sponsor, just drop me out of the blue, as if say, I mean, mate, you told me to quit my job, and then you just gone. I've already got too much stress, so I don't really bother too much with people, but I've got, I can't say I do talk to people, hence, because I'm selling my tickets. So I do talk to people, but man, when you say has your circle gotten smaller? Because when people mess me about, I can't you can't really say anything. It's not like I can say, oh, just piss off. It's not like you can do that. So, but it's made me really, really want to cuss people out. So now I just don't bother with people as much, or because I'm always busy with training as well. People don't really bother with me too much. But again, it is what it is. What can you do? It's part of boxing. It's the hardest sport in the world, not just because of the physicality and everything you need to do, but because of this side of things as well. So it's one of them. It is what it is, isn't it?
Absolutely. And like just speaking on social media, like would you ever sort of document what you do on a day-to-day basis with regards to your training? Do you feel like there's a good audience for that?
Well, you need to, don't you? But I have my times where I'm high on it and I'm doing it because you need to promote yourself. So and then like let's say this week I ain't posted anything. I ain't posted anything. I'm tired. I'm tired. You think I can be bothered to go on TikTok and document full day of eating? Bull. I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered for it. But again, this is another thing I don't like. You have to promote yourself, and it's oh my God, it's a headache. It's a headache. Because people telling me, oh, you need to try that TikTok. I can't stand it. I
Yeah.
can't stand it. I can't stand it. I go on it. Like I done a few because I tried to do a full day of eating video. So I recorded like 2 meals. And I was like, I ain't doing this, man. It's long, man. I'm busy trying, and I got to run 8 miles there. I can't be bothered for this. I don't want to do this. So the most I do now is just go on my Instagram and just put some stories, a few posts of when I'm 3 sessions done today. Oh, this is my lunch, this, that, and the other. But I just can't be bothered for it. But again, it's another thing that you have to do. It's just it'll help you promotion wise, and people seeing the work that you gotta do. But I, mate, if I wasn't a professional boxer, I don't think I'd have social media.
No.
I really don't.
I think social
Mm-mm.
media is like criminal. I mean, like I'm 28, and I remember when it started going up to, like when the iPhone started coming through, Facebook was really starting to become big whilst I was in school and so forth. And you
Mm.
really saw how it sort of changed a lot of people's perceptions. Nowadays, you see obviously TikTok and stuff. Kids' attention deficit is like unbelievable now. I feel like every kid has almost developed some form of ADHD because of that. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
media, and it's very smokes and mirrors as well. Like what you see in my world, personal training world, see a lot of people who post loads of stuff about how busy they are. But reality is when you're busy with clients or you're busy with training, it's so hard to actually post. So it's kind of
yeah,
mirrors, isn't it?
yeah. That's what I'm saying, mate. Everyone's just got their heads stuck in their phone, social media, and it's so fake. It's so fake. It's unbelievable. Everyone fake. That's why I like minding my own business. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, if I wasn't a professional boss, I wouldn't have no social media. Everyone's just fake. But you know, as you said, you've got to promote like your personal training stuff like that. It's something you have to do.
Mm.
So, is what it is.
Definitely. Last two questions. So, one question I've always like sort of wanted to ask a lot of upcoming boxers, and sort of like a good sort of message, obviously, for the kids out there that are sort of like maybe white collar or even amateur level that are looking to go pro one day. What would you be sort of your best advice that you've been given or that you'd like to pass down to young generations that are aspiring to be professional?
Um, what for if they're turning pro?
So yeah, if they're aspiring to be turning pro, but they're just getting into the amateur scene now, what would you say sort of your best advice is?
Make sure you're headstrong
Mm.
because it ain't just about physicality. It's mentally draining. Not like I said, not just with the training, it's with dealing with people, ticket selling, just dealing with sponsors. It's all mentally draining. Make sure your head's strong. Make sure your head read book. I used to hate reading when I was younger. I've only just started reading a few books. I read that's gonna annoy me. Relentless, that's it. I read a book called Relentless by Kobe Bryant's trainer, something like that. But make sure you read books like similar to that. It will help. Just make sure you're dedicated. Make sure make sure boxing is definitely what you want to do.
Mm.
Me personally, I'm a realist. I'm a realist. If I can't see myself making it in boxing, then I'm not doing it. I'm not wasting my time. People will say, "Oh, yeah, but you can make memories." All right, what's that gonna? Like I said, I'm a realist. What is memories gonna get me? Oh yeah, okay, I can look back on it, but is that gonna make my life secure? No, I'm not interested in that. Then, if I don't think I can make it in boxing, I'm not doing that. I'm not wasting my time. I could be trying to build a career somewhere else. Make sure you want to do boxing. Make sure that you want to do boxing. Me personally, if you're happy with making memories, then fine. Me personally, why am I gonna waste 5 years of my life? So make sure you want to do boxing. Make sure your head's strong. Make sure you're dedicated because the training's hard, but mentally it's harder. So I'd say those things.
Absolutely. Do you know what? I think you could even like cut yourself out as a career as a coach as well. I think that's definitely worth sort of saying. Just from the way you sort of speak, you're realistic. I think you've got your head screwed on quite nicely as well for a young man of 24. Mate,
Yeah, respect.
outside of boxing, even outside of boxing, you know. So it's really a really refreshing conversation. I really appreciate it. One
Yeah,
last thing.
like I said, man, I'm a realist. I'm not gonna like these fake people on social media. I'm as real as they come, man.
Definitely. And I think that's one of the best like personality traits to have. And that's something that you can trust within business as well. So as you said, you want to invest in property and so forth. You're going to be that person that people want to trust, will trust and be approachable by
Yeah.
because you truth. And I think that's fantastic. Look, mate, you've been an absolute pleasure to speak to. I really appreciate your time as well. Um, if you have any sort of requests at all, obviously post the podcast, let me know. But I really appreciate your time. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap this up now. So this is Asa from AP Podcast, or Peachy Podcast, I like to say. We've just had Nyall Berry on, just on this upcoming fight coming forward. It's been an absolute pleasure. Please feel free to tune in anytime, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Please.